Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And we have more cards from Fractured in Alterac Valley to cover. They keep on coming out. We're going to keep doing 2 reviews a day, so make sure to hit that sub button, like the video, all that good stuff. Tune in for the next video later today. And a reminder on this video, we do have a giveaway going on. If you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel on that video, subscribe to the channel in general, you'll be entered for a chance to win one of 2 pre-orders. And this expansion's looking pretty insane so far, so you probably want to get in on that. Anyways, let's get going. Let's take a look at some of these crazy new cards. And there's one that I'm super excited about. You probably can tell by the thumbnail which one it is, but I'm really excited about. So first, we're going to start off with a new Demon Hunter card, Warden of Chains. It's a 4-mana 2/6. This minion has Taunt and has Battle Cry. If you're holding a demon that costs 5 or more, gain +1/+2. So if this gets the Battle Cry, you're having a 3/8 Taunt on turn 4, which is very powerful. We've pretty much never seen that. The best, I guess you've seen a 5/10 Taunt if you Oaken summons that one neutral minion, but that's a lot of stats, and this is like big demon support. Most of those cards that are built around that deck, are around demons, right? And you play this, it doesn't have a demon tag, it's not gonna get like sucked out of your hand and all of that. It just, with that new 6-mana spell that like cheats minions out of your deck and make them attack each other, there's some anti-synergy there. Is Warden of Chains gonna be worth it to run in that big demon package, even with that downside? Potentially. That deck is starting to become a thing. It's been somewhat viable lately, and I don't know, it seems like a decent addition to it. A 4-mana 3/8 Taunt. That's a pretty big deal. I could see it seeing play in that big demon hunter in standard. I will give it a 3. I think it'll see some play in wild, not so much. That deck has not been a thing. It's very slow strategy for wild. There's just better stuff to do all around. I'll give it 2, but overall, pretty solid card. And even as like a standalone minion in arena, as a 4-mana 2/6 Taunt, it's okay, you can pick it, and then if you get the upside, it's pretty busted. Next, we have a card. This is not the official name. I haven't been able to find an officially translated name for this card, so bear with me, but it's a warlock card. It's not called Fluffy Patchwork. I'm sure that's not the name, but it's a 5-mana 2/8 minion, and more importantly, it has Battle Cry. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Honorable kill, gain that minion's attack. So if this kills, let's say there's a full board of 1/1, 7 1/1s. This will gain 7 attack and be a 5-mana 9/8. That would be pretty incredible. And as well as if it's on the board, it trades into something and does another honorable kill, it will gain stats. Is this good? If there's like a very tokenish meta where there's a lot of 1 health minions on the board, I could see it being pretty good. It's a lot of stats for 5 mana in terms of health. It's like Gurabashi Berserker. It's just, Warlock has an abundance of good board clears. There's like Soul Rend, you have the 1-mana Grimoire Sacrifice, you have board clears. And in Wild, you have way better stuff like Defile, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I just don't see this being a really powerful card in Warlock. I'm not sold on this in Standard or Wild. It's not terrible, but I don't think it's very good. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in both Standard and Wild, but I'll be curious to know what its real name is, because Fluffy Patchwork, that could be quite the name. That's quite the intimidating minion to face on ladder, right? Next, we have a neutral legendary minion, a 10-mana one, but not really. Lukar the Ice Lord. It is a 10-mana 8/8 elemental legendary minion that has Rush and Wind Fury, but it costs 5 less if you have 15 health or less. So old Draxus would have worked perfectly with this. You'd set yourself to 15, and then you play Lukar, and then it has Rush and Wind Fury, so it's 5 mana. Is this good? 5-mana 8/8 Rush Wind Fury is amazing. Obviously, that is amazing, but you have to be down to 15 health. Self-damage Warlock is what I think when I see this, because you do a lot of self-damaging. Whether it be in Standard or Wild, you get down to 15 health pretty quickly or reliably with all your self-damaging effects, and then you can play Lukar and then heal back up. And that's a very powerful effect. You have a Rush Wind Fury minion on board. If it's not killed, it's pushing 16 damage. that's pretty incredible, and you can raise dead it and get it back. There's also, you know, we have Shaman, Elemental Shaman, where they can discount it a little bit, you know, using your 1-drop, or Granite Forgeborn, the 4/4, 4-mana 4/4, and get it a little bit cheaper. But you need to reliably get down to 15 health for this to be good, and the Elemental Shaman decks don't really do that. Even like an Elemental Mage doesn't really get low health reliably. It's got to be something that gets low health often. And the only thing I could think of reliably is Warlock, and I could see it seeing play there, because yeah, you get down below 15 pretty reliably. So I'm going to give it a 3 as a Warlock card, basically, in Standard, maybe even in Wild, because like the Pain Warlock there is pretty good. But even there, 5 mana 8/8 Wind Fury Rush in Wild might actually be too slow. But maybe not. I don't know. I'll give it a tentative 3 in Standard and Wild, but basically it's a Warlock card. But feel free to share your ideas. Maybe there's some other better ideas in terms of setting yourself to 15. You play old school Alexstrasza in Wild, and yeah, that's way too slow to make this work. But overall, pretty cool card. But it's funny, even the 10 drops in Hearthstone, they don't really cost 10 if they want to see any play. Next, we have a really interesting card from Warrior, Snowed In. This is a 3-mana Frost spell. A Frost spell for Warrior. It destroys a damaged minion, and then you freeze all other minions. What? That is bizarre. It's like Freeze Shaman, or not Freeze Shaman, like not that bad. Well, we might see some more of that later, actually. If we believe the leaks at all. But it's like Freeze Mage, except it's like with an execute, but it hits all other minions. So this doesn't really fit into like if you're playing like an aggro deck and like maybe you're just trying to stall out your opponent. You want to kill something and then freeze the board. They can't interact with your board very well and push some damage. This freezes all other minions. So it's more of like, you know, in a control warrior-ish deck where like you kill something, you freeze the board, and then you know, delay into a brawl or something like that. It's just so hard to evaluate. We've never seen a full board freeze effect in Warrior or like anything like that before. But I do believe it's more in a control-y deck, maybe like a big Warrior stalls with it, something like that. And I don't believe this will activate if there's not a damage minion on the board. I don't think you can just play it as like a Frost Nova. You have to have a damage minion. It could be your own. It could be your own. I'm gonna give this a 3. I think this sees play in some like more mid-range control-y Warrior decks, because it's a, you know, it's like Coerce basically, which sees play and it freezes the board. So that's pretty good. I think it will see some play in Standard, maybe even in Wild. Like Odd Warrior can run this. I don't know. Maybe Dead Man's Hand Warrior likes this for whatever reason. I'll give it 3 in Standard Wild. It's a really interesting, and I think it's a cool card. I think it's a very cool card, and the card that I'm the most excited about, that I'm like day one Golden Craft, I cannot wait to try out, is Spammy Arcanist. 5 mana 3/4 neutral epic battle cry. Deal 1 damage to all other minions if any die repeats this. This is Defile. This is Defile on a minion. It's 3 more mana, but Defile is one of the most busted, insane board clears in Hearthstone history, and this is attached to a minion that any class can use. You can play this with like a Bolner in like Shaman. You can get another battle cry with the Parrot in Shaman. This can be activated by Shudderwalk in Shaman. I'm thinking a lot of Shaman here, but overall, this is just any class can utilize this. This is an insane board clear. If you can set up, it's 5 mana. So Defile, you know, you have more mana to set it up. It comes out earlier, but I just think this card is rad. It's like Lord Godfrey, except, you know, Lord Godfrey was similar-ish, very powerful legendary for Warlock, except it dealt 2 damage to all their minions, which is a lot better, but it was 7 mana 4/4. I think this card's great. I think this is what I want to see in the game. Board clears and neutral to boot. Really sweet card. I love it. I think it has to see play. I don't know what classes will utilize it. I think multiple classes will, but I imagine this sees play in both Standard and Wild. And we're seeing a lot of like defensive tools, late game tools, and I'm loving that from this expansion so far. Will the cards like the Demon Seed render that useless? We'll find out, and we'll talk about that probably in another video. But as it stands, I'm very excited, and I'm going to give this card a 4 in Standard, a 4 in Wild. I think, like, you know, even in Wild, like a Reno Mage, a Reno Warlock can just use it as extra redundancy, things like that. It's just a really sweet card. I love it. I'm crafting this golden, and even if it's a total bust, I won't regret it because the card is pretty cool. she looks pretty sweet. So there you go. That's the latest card review so far. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.